Welcome to Faith in 5, a weekly video devotional designed to discuss practical spiritual concepts in 5 minutes or less. I'm your host, Mark Vandella. When I ran student ministries at a church, every Christmas we would collect gifts. We would collect pre-wrapped gifts so that we could distribute them to a local ministry. And I loved being there on the Sunday that we would deliver them. Usually that meant, everybody waits to the last minute. So a bunch of people would show up with their gifts, and usually families would do their best to kind of bring their kids along, have their kids be a part of it, and come bring the toys in to give away to other kids who may have less. And I loved being there and having other high school and middle school students around me to observe what happened. Essentially, what would happen is there's two types of kids. Some would show up and they would just hold on to the presents. I remember one year, a dad and his kids were bringing in some bikes, and it was within the same family, so this dad didn't do anything wrong. But one kid was like holding onto the bike and didn't want to let go of the bike. The bike was not fair that it wasn't going to be his, that it was going to somebody else. And this kid has no idea what's under his tree. I'm sure that it was a better bike or another bike or whatever. And then this kid's brother was trying to encourage him, like, it's okay. And I don't know which one was older or not, but the other one was trying to encourage, it's okay. We have plenty. We have a lot of toys, and this is for other kids that maybe don't have toys. And it was so cute that this dad kind of brought his two kids and they had this experience. The best part of it was that we had high school and middle school kids there who, we'd observe the behavior. We kind of chuckled that it's cute as little kids. But we had a discussion afterwards, a small group discussion. What we were kind of able to ask is, which type of kid do you want to be when you grow up? Right? What the lesson here is that a lot of times when in the Christmas story, we like to be the star of the story. In any story, we want to be the star of the story. The Christmas story is unique in that there are two stars in the story. So I want to tell you a little bit about these stars. We are basing our Christmas series on a book called Love Lives Here by Maria Goff. And I picked this book not because it's about Christmas, but because Love Lives Here sounds exactly like what Christmas is intended to communicate to us. God came down and said, I want to live among you. And he did that through Jesus. And so in the book, Maria tells a story about how when they host big dinner parties, they would actually get out paper plates. And on one of the paper plates, they would draw a star. And she said we'd kind of shuffle the deck and then we'd hand those plates out to everyone. And everybody would want to get the star because the star meant that you got to pick dessert. And so everybody wanted dessert or wanted to get the star and pick dessert. Now, if you think about hosting a party, if you were to do this, most of us we'd rig the game. But we wouldn't rig the game so that we got the star. We would rig the game so that our guests would get the star. It's the most hospitable thing to do. And I'm sure if I got to sit at Bob and Maria Goff's table for the first time, they would ensure that I got the star. And so there's two stars in the Christmas story. One is the guest. One is the people who have not had a seat at the table. When you think about how the Christmas story unfolds, angels appear to shepherds. Jesus and Mary were outcasts. They were fleeing where they were from. Jesus was born in a manger. He was born in a barn among animals. The whole story is written for the people who do not already have a seat at the table. And they become the star of the show. And so if you're listening to this and you have not been invited to the table, if you've experienced a God who you feel like didn't have a seat at the table for you or didn't even want you at the table, that's not the story that God's telling, especially through the Christmas story. The Christmas story is written for you to receive an open invitation to come sit at the table. And then there's another star in the story, the literal North Star, the star that's supposed to show Jesus to the world so that people would see him, know him, and understand them. And this star shines bright. And that if you have been at the table for a while, if you've been a guest at the table, if you're supposed to be hosting this party, you are intended to be the star that points to Jesus. So we get to be a star. Don't worry, like the story isn't not written for you. We all get to be a star in this story. We just get to choose which one. And so this Christmas story, or this Christmas season, I would just ask that we're very intentional about the star we choose to be. One of my favorite Christmas movies is Elf. And in Elf, the challenge is that there's not very much Christmas spirit. And Elf's dad talks about the clausometer, and that the more Christmas spirit, the more the clausometer is full. I would like us to think about the Christometer this Christmas. That if we are the star in the sky that points to Jesus, everything that we do should make that star brighter and more significant, point more to Jesus, to invite more people to the table. Instead, I think sometimes we behave in a way that says, I got the star plate and it's my star plate, and you don't get a star plate because I have a star plate. That's not what the Christmas story says. In fact, in Luke 19:10, it says, for the Son of Man, Jesus, came to seek and save those who are lost. Jesus came to set the table and to invite anybody and everybody who has not been at the table to get the star plate. And then once you have the star plate, as Maria tells the story, they actually, every time that they have a party, they shuffle those plates up, they mix them all up, and different people get the star plate again. The people who have already had it get to become the North Star and shine and say, come meet Jesus, come meet my God. That's the story that we should tell this Christmas. As you live out your faith, please choose to be the Christometer in the sky that points to Jesus. And if you have never been invited to this table, please know that you are welcome, and we want you at the table. And in fact, we want you to know a God who loves you deeply. Thanks for watching Faith in 5. If you like what you see, please like and share. If you're interested in making a donation to our ministry, please click the link below.